I don't know who to begin with. How about Matt in the center? Because you were already an XP8 member, but then we've covered that a few times, and then things changed, and here you're back. So what happened?
Trying to think of where to begin. I think it all started when I got my hip replacement. It's almost 2 years ago now, 2 years in July. After I get the hip replacement, I came back 5 months after to start training again. And in hindsight, I think because of the issues that I had, I think I came back just a little too early, or maybe a lot too early. So, and I think that complicated my physical issues. I think, I just put pressure on myself. I didn't want to let the team down, so I wanted to try to push the timeline more than what was realistically feasible, at my age. And, it didn't recover as fast as I wanted to. Ended up having some back problems, had to get, a series of injections, having to pull out of a competition slot 2 months prior to the World Meet. Which wasn't an ideal situation at all. It was one of the most difficult decisions I've ever had to do, and it placed a lot of stress on the team as well. So they're kind of scrambling to try to find somebody, but fortunately they found Chris Kuhlman, who was great fit for the team. He stepped right in and stepped up to the plate and did an incredible job. Obviously, at the with last year's World Meet scores. Fast forward a bit, airspeed's focusing on four-way, and I'm back in slot. They asked me, I had some reservations because I didn't want to put the team in the same situation, but I took an additional 4 months off after all that stuff was going on. Craig asked me if I wanted to do the Nationals, with that lineup, and I was feeling good enough. I was like, yeah, I'll give it a shot. It wasn't going to be a whole lot of jumps, and it was mostly for fun. And had a great time out there. I felt great after the jumps. Then I started picking up some tunnel coaching jobs. After that, was still feeling really good. So when XP8, asked me if I wanted to do it again, I said yes. But here's the caveat. Did a couple training camps, and I'm feeling great so far. So yeah, that's where we are now.
That was really, in a nutshell, a long story in a nutshell.
Good. That's what people want to hear.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So how did they fix you up in this time? And I'm sure you have some, listening to that story, you have some, I would have some advice for people who get into a similar situation, because you're an athlete. We are all athletes, and there's strain on the bodies, blah, blah, blah. And as athletes and passionate people, you want to come back as quickly as possible, right? You're the best example for that.
Right, yeah, I had a conversation with Nick Hemlin about it, and he was saying that he thought that the team had pressured me to get back in, and I think maybe it was a combination. Everybody wants to get back to work quick, but I didn't feel pressure from the team. I felt like it was probably more me and maybe a little bit of ego there, like, hey, I'm going to come back after this major surgery, and I'm going to come back fast, and I'm going to show the world what I can do. Well, reality and my body had other ideas, so I ate a bunch of humble pie during that period of time. But fortunately it seems like the additional rest has worked out well, and I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, so are we. Drew is the other, actually not really new teammate or team member. You were already back, like Matt, in and out and alternate and all kind of things. So how did it work for you? Give us a quick overview of
throughout the years, going many years back, I've been on different XP8 lineups. And the most recent one was back in 2019. So I was training with XP8 for 2019 and before. And that was the year that we won nationals and became the U.S. team. At the same time, my four-way team Rhythm won nationals and became the U.S. team. So for 2020 and 2021, I took those years to focus on four-way, and I was the alternate for XP8. So I did some training throughout those years when the team needed a fill-in. And then now that I'm not competing in four-way anymore, I have time, and I'm happy to be back training with XP8.
And you were the alternate in Tanai too, right? So you actually won a gold medal in 8-way.
As alternate, yeah.
As the alternate. Well, my medal has a special, my airspeed medal has a very special place at home as an alternate. And just one quick sidestep here. Your teammates of last year, Jeanette and Steve, they are very busy at the moment. I just want to direct some good thoughts to them because Jeanette is, you told me that yesterday, she's in the middle of...
Yep, they're dealing with the mass that was in her brain. And yeah, they've been sending updates out to the community and stuff. So that's all happening now though, yep.
And everything seems to be nicely on track as it was hoped for.
It does,
First the baby, then Jeanette, maybe, possibly, and so forth. So far, so good. And we are thinking of them, and we're wishing her really well, right? And good.
Yeah, for sure. And they've got a lot of support from the community, so that's good. Okay,
and then there's I'm sure that Craig, you have had some engagements with XP8 in the past too, but you were not really totally a team member. Well, give us an overview of your XP8.
Well, I mean, there was some times the last couple of years that I had to, Kirk would call me to come fill in for somebody, like BK was out for a camp, so I came in and filled in for BK, and then when Matt was having a surgery, I came and filled in for Matt. I did a couple of camps, or a tunnel camp and then a jumping camp, and it was just super fun. It was really nice, and I was back in the slot that I've probably done the most, and so same thing, like Kirk's outside center, I'm right next to him, so there's a lot of familiarity with all that stuff, and so I knew that airspeed was going to go focus on four-way last year at the end of the world meet, and so my time with the Russian team had come to a close at the end of the world championship last year, and so I'm going to be 57 in July, and I'm feeling great. I have no aches, no pains. I feel great.
Just like the Craig as we know him.
Yeah. So I told John, I was like, hey, I realize if there's an possibility, because it's going to be in Eloy, 8 months of training. It's like all just win-win situation, and so I said, if it's possible, I'd just leave my hand out there, and so I checked back with him October, checked back in December. I was like, it's probably not going to happen. I went to South Africa. So John gave me a call on February 1st. We were out doing a demo out in California, and it was like, can you clear your schedule? I was like, absolutely. Absolutely. So I just wiped it all out. And then Andrew and I are having a chance to be peace partners, and it's awesome, man. Just having a great time. And all the three of us are just, a lot of times, me and Matt were looking at each other in the plane. We're just
start laughing.
It's awesome. And so, but the jumps, I'm going to say this, they're some of the easiest and funnest jumps and fastest jumps I've ever done in my life. And it's complete joy every day. And so I'm looking forward to every day of training. And sometimes like this, it's we just wait around and jump and hang out and crack jokes and, but it's been super fun. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. We're already at the end of May, we're getting ready to start June, so man, the world meet's going to be here pretty soon. And so, but we're trying to max out the jumps and just keep having a great time every day. Awesome.
I remember that by coincidence, I think, was it last year or 2 years ago, when you were here for a week, you had to step in for...
I think it was for Matt, yeah.
And I think it was for the NSL News was here by coincidence for that week, more or less. So that was one of the fill-in situations there.
Yeah,
there you are. So we have possibly the youngest and the oldest team member then in a piece together there, Drew, and
probably,
Correct, is that right?
Am I the youngest?
I don't know. You are probably
34.
Okay.
34, 57, so a few decades in between. Well, it looks good on video.
Feels good too.
Yeah, it's awesome getting to fly with Craig.
Yeah, me too.
He's been, a role model since I started jumping, so it's awesome to be able to be a peace partner with him now.
Yeah, did you jump already when he was born? Let's see, 20 years. Did you jump with 20?
Well, he's 34.
88.
I'm 23.
Yeah, I was on the Golden Knights in 1988. That was my first year on the 8-way team. Yeah.
Okay, could be. So we have different purpose. Well, different purposes. Not the purpose is the same. Make the greatest jumps, break the Golden Knights average, and set a new world record for a single round, and win the world meet gold medals. All that. Those are the functional, the normal goals that everybody's working for. But there's still special situations. For Drew, it would be the first where you have the gold medal as an alternate, but not in the active lineup. So is that in the back of your mind? That would be your first?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you mentioned that earlier. I remember that it has a meaning for you.
Yeah, for sure, like a gold medal at a world meet.
Well, how can you not? And then Matt has something else to accomplish, which is your own decade of 8-way excellence. I remember
keep forgetting
that
about
summer.
that till you bring it up. But,
Well, go ahead, explain that to the audience. I think I would dig it up in my own brain, but
it started in '97. It was my '96 was my first year on the 8-way team on the Golden Knights, and then 1997 went to the World Meet, but I was alternate, and so I was kind of riding the coattails, and that's when it all started. And then I think the story is pretty long in between. I guess this will be a full decade. We had a great run with the Golden Knights, and great lineup there. We all really gelled, and made those were some of the most fun and most successful years I've personally had. With any lineup, and getting the opportunity to recreate that again. With this lineup once. After retirement is like bonus. It's awesome being able to just like Andrew said, being able to jump with Craig. He was a mentor of mine as well. I remember watching him before I got onto the 8-way team, and watching him the Fort Bragg wind tunnel and just studying, sitting there for hours studying his body position and being amazed. So it's a treat for me too, and being able to hang out with Craig is cool.
And then Craig doesn't really have a mission. I mean, his mission is just to have fun always. And
Pretty much the truth. It's so much fun. Yeah.
But you are competing probably with Kirk or Mark Kirkby for the highest number of gold medals at world meets or so. What is the situation there? I don't have it in my head right now. Who is in the lead?
I have 7. I think I have the most right now. Yeah.
So you're trying to increase the lead actually then? No.
Yeah, I'm always trying to increase it, but I got a couple silver medals in there too. But a lot of times, out of all those gold medals, my 2 favorites were the 2 silver medals. Like my favorite competitions were the two
one in
Menzelinsk, and then 2003 in Gap. Like went to 11th round where we tied in the 11th round, and then the Russians got the medal because they had the highest score in like round 2 or 3. Yeah. But still, like if you look at it, truly, you got to love the fight more than the win, because a lot of those gold medals were like, we could have just showed up and it wasn't a huge fight, a lot of times. But like the big fights were my favorites. Yeah. So,
are we running into a similar situation this year?
I think we're thinking like we are. Yeah, I feel like the drive and the determination, like yesterday was probably one of our best training days so far. Just like BK's in charge this week, and he's really like pushing that we're going forward on every jump, and I really felt like this was really satisfied. A lot of breakthroughs on things, yesterday's, and it's just super fun, man. So I think we have to keep it that way in our minds, because never know.
But you were probably not going to get your one-point drama like with France last year, as the others had, or the Menzelinsk battle or the 2003 battle. It looks like I don't know who could really be there this year to threaten.
Whoever shows up, but we're gonna plan we're gonna have to take it out of the park.
Yeah, I think regardless, we've got an opportunity here with an incredible lineup to be able to, if we really focus, double down, and get measurements on everything, all the break times, all the block times. We shave off tenths of a second here. It'll really push us to achieve the most we can. Why waste this opportunity, to be able to beat our own records regardless of what the competition is like. So I think that's our goals, or our main mission moving forward.
Yeah, that's like in our sport, which it is. You know, the numbers are still there. It doesn't really, in the long term, doesn't matter how many points you won with, although it sticks in your mind. But setting new records and new levels of performance and scoring, you know, that alone is already exciting enough. Out of the 7 gold medals, how many were 4-way, how many were 8-way?
2 4-way, 5 8-way.
Okay,
And
so
then there's some alternates in there that I'm not really counting.
So 5 8-way so far, which means there you are only 1 ahead of Matt then, right? But
I mean, if you take in like the one alternate and last year as alternate / coach, I think it was more. Yeah, but you know, I kind of don't really count those either. So I think Craig's
we
way
can't do
ahead.
that because we didn't count it for Drew. So you know, so only active lineup we're counting here.
And Scott Rhodes, we can't leave out Scott either. He's
He got 6 in a row.
yeah.
In
so
a row.
he's the leader actually, the 8-way leader then.
Oh
still.
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Okay, so you could get close with 5, no, with 6.
6,
You would
but like
tie him.
not in a row.
You
I
would
mean, like
tie-
Scott did it in a
Yeah.
row. I was like, you know, it's pretty hard to touch that.
Well, isn't that, I mean, you know that from your own experience, when you're in a row, it's almost like easier. Isn't it more difficult if it's interrupted and then there's another team, like the French team or somebody else coming, interfering, and then you have to come back and...
I think sometimes like Hayabusa's in that position right now. You know, they dominate for a really long time, and you know it's like the guys that stayed on for a long time, like both Andy and Dave. You know, Dave's still in there, but like sometimes, you know, it's not like you want to try to stay long enough so somebody can beat you, but you got to keep going because what's making people train hard to beat that, and you know, like looking at the airspeed, the 4-way, like those guys are. You know, they're like ahead of Hayabusa right now, you know, but I would assume that Hayabusa is going to make some big progress. And so I think that being out there where people are chasing you and fighting as hard as you can while people, you know, to beat somebody that's been really pushing it for a long time, it's a major accomplishment. You know, like beating the Golden Knights when we were on airspeed the first time we beat the Golden Knights. You know, it's like it's a lot of things like that, but not like you're just gonna go in there and coast until somebody beats you. You know, it's like being able to keep going.
I was going to say, and if you know, I know Craig can attest to this. Training with Scott Rhodes, you're not going to rest. I mean, he pushed harder than anybody I've ever known as far as physical training and everything that went into it. He pushed for excellence, you know, way above and beyond, and so there wasn't anything easy about it. You know, he was setting goals, and I think the '97 World Meet was a testament to that. I think that, you know, that team won by a wide margin,
60 points or something like that. Yeah,
and that was just, you know, a testament as to it doesn't matter, you know, how far, we're not going to relax and, you know, pull the throttles back. We're going to push them forward.
And set the highest average ever. It was like a 22.4 or something like that. You know, it's like. It stood for 10 years. Yeah.
So the whip is doing it, which means like who's next? This week is PK, and then who is after that?
PK does a great job with that too.
Oh, good. Well, he comes from the Golden Knights.
There's a good balance there, because Kurt, man, both those guys are. Since I have a very short time here, but like both those guys, even though there's a lot of input, it's not like there's one clear, defined like my way or the highway. You know, there's a lot of talk about feelings about how people feel about it, so I really like I think there's a good balance, but it's nice to have somebody in charge of the schedule and the jumps and, you know, taking an overall. But just in the short time that I've been here, there's been a lot of people kicking in for other jobs, like Matt's doing a great job with all the times, the scores, and just little details, you know, around the team, surrounding the team, other than jumping. And so
everybody. I don't know who's next, but Craig, you'd be a great captain.
Yeah,
there you go.
I've been captain a couple of times. Yeah.
Is there a vote? How do you decide who is gonna be the?
It's kind of a volunteer basis. It's like, hey, you know, I did it this camp. Who wants it next camp?
I'm kind of enjoying not being in charge. It's really fun.
You're used to, I mean, you're coaching, you coach the Russians, so that's a sad situation probably that you cannot see them at the work.
Well, I mean, I feel for them, you know, because it's Putin, not them, you know, and so I feel for all Russian and Belarusian and all the other athletes that are affected by this, because you know they're not bombing Ukraine, you know, and so kind of sucks, you know.
Yeah.
But like the governments have to make some of those decisions. It's not other skydivers that are making those decisions, and so.
And they have a strong delegation, not only the 8-way team, you know, the girls.
Yeah, the women's 4-way, yeah.
Reigning world champions,
Yeah.
basically. You know, I mean, that's what it is.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
All right. Well, it looks like it's breaking up now,
A
slowly.
little bit.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna let the 3 XP8 members and world champions and whatever, all of that, we're gonna let them go now and back to the business. Thank you very much
Kurt.
Thanks, Kurt.
for the
All right.
storytelling and all that, and have fun.
All right.
I don't
Yeah,
have to
we
tell
will.
Craig, but